Anjungun, his weapon was only peace. Yugan-sun, she prayed and shouted to have a long desire for peace. Peace was all of our dreams, and it was prayer, and it was our weapon. Today we have established peace that has been fought with fierce fighting, and we remember the peace on this nation and the people that established such peace. And establishing true peace on the Korean Peninsula is true national liberation. First of all, we would raise the flag. It will be held in accordance with the music performance by Shin Dae-sik, and actor Park Hwan-hee and student Shin Ki-jung will participate in the raising of the flag. Please rise from where you are and face the flag in the front of you. To the people who have lost their nation, and we will now have the allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag. I, before the proud Taegukgi, solemnly swear that I will dedicate myself for the glory of a free and just Republic of Korea. At ease. We will now sing the Aegukga, the national anthem, in unison. It will be sung by actress Lee Jung-hyun, who is the descendant, and actress Hong Ji-min, who is the descendant of Mr. Hong Chang-sik, and Kim Sung-seng, who is the descendant of Mr. Kim Dong-man, and Ho Sung-yu, who is a descendant of Mr. Ho Jae-gi. Next, we will have a silent tribute for those who sacrificed for the nation. Silent tribute. At ease, please be seated. Next, we will now invite the President Park Yu-chul of the Association for National Liberation for a commemorative speech. Commemorative speech. Honorable Korean citizens, today we celebrate the 73rd anniversary of the National Liberation Day, and we stand here at the historic Yongsan, and we are joined by the President Moon Jae-in and the First Lady, as well as distinguished guests from home and abroad, and we are also joined by Korean compatriots who live overseas. I believe it's a great honor for me to stand here before you. Our national liberation is not something that has been given just by an external forces. If it were not for our strong desire and fight for independence, we wouldn't have the peace that we are enjoying today. They fought for the nation who has been lost, and there were many patriotic martyrs who participated in this independence movement here at home and abroad, and their sacrifice has made possible our proud Korea. During this process, our patriots risked their lives and everything for the sovereignty. And there were a lot of pains that they had to go through, which cannot be described into words. And even up until now, they have those wounds in their hearts. The martyrs did not fight for a divided nation, but also they desired for a peace and independence for a united Korea. Meanwhile, Kim Gu, who fought for national independence, said he would sleep on the division line. Unfortunately, the division has brought about a divided Korean peninsula, and we were faced with a tragic Korean war between our people. However, today, now, after 7 decades, the light is shedding on our strong desire and hope. Through the Panmunjom Declaration established on April 27th, we are moving towards a complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, as well as an establishing of peace on the Korean Peninsula. We made clear that we will cooperate to make such ends. And all of the series of changes that have been happened after the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics was all possible because of the ceaseless efforts strived by President Moon Jae-in. I hope that our government will make more efforts to bring about more peace and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula. Honorable Korean citizens, we are now moving from confrontation to make more exchanges and dialogue between the two Koreas through the Red Cross talks, and such exchanges between the two Koreas will even be vigorated as we go forward. This is a true desire that have been made possible by the sacrifices and dedications of the patriotic martyrs of the past. And once again, we pay our respect and appreciation for these martyrs. Fellow Korean citizens, Korean compatriots living overseas, in April, as I saw the Korean arts performance team go to North Korea and see the two people of the Koreas holding hands to sing that all of our territories, including the Baekdu Mountains to the Dokdo Islets, are our own territory, I was very much moved by such performance. The denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and establishing long-lasting peace is our task that we have at hand. In the past, Martyr An Jung-gun has fought for the independence of the nation, and he has said that the disaster would come upon the nation that has not established peace and which is not cooperative. And I hope that we can show our capacity to the entire world. We sincerely hope that we will never lose our country once again for our descendants, and we should not repeat our tragic history of having a war between our own parties. And we shall overcome the confrontations and conflicts between the two Koreas, and we should move forwards to mutual respect and understanding. To this end, we will be able to unify our country in accordance to the cooperation of the international community as well as the neighboring countries. Throughout the past history of 5,000 decades, we have lived throughout the same history. We have enjoyed the same food and culture, and thus the people of the two Koreas are the same people. And this perspective shall live on to carry out the candlelight for peace and unified Korea in the future, and this is something that we need to serve in our hearts. Thank you very much. August 15th, 2018. My hope is independent government and to guard their gates, and I hope that I can be the guard keeper. August 15th, 1945, the day has come. We have been returned of our country in 27 years. However, I had to return as an independent person and not as an interim government. More than 150,000 people have gathered in the welcome ceremony despite the cold weather and stressed unification. However, we were faced with another crisis of division. Today, we celebrate the day as we step forward to the international arena along with the same people and together with all of our people. All of our nations will see us, and we will establish good relationships with all of them. While the film ends here, we can imagine what Kim-gu tried to say to us.
이 도보다리 위에 올라서니 감개가 무량하고 해방의 날이 떠오릅니다. 1945년 해방에는 연합국의 호위와 원조가 막대한 힘이 되었습니다. 그러나
However, our liberation is not something that has been given to us. Numerous martyrs have shed their blood. If it were not for them, we will not have today's liberation. Likewise, the future road going forward for our people does not lie in the hands of others, and this is not being granted by someone else. It's done by us, ourselves. I believe that we could establish true world peace, and this can be done by our country, and we can establish the final stroke to world peace. Compatriots, we will be very delighted to live in such nation, and such nation will not be unfortunate, and it will never collapse. We have a lot of forests and abundance of natural resources, and we also have prosperity and a harmony among our nations. And this nation is something that I haven't forgotten even in my dreams. In this nation, let's meet again. To that day, I hope for your well-being.
넓은 벌 동쪽 끝으로 옛 이야기 지줄대는 시계천이 휘돌아 나가고 얼룩배기 황소가 해설비 금빛 게으른 울음을 우는 곳 그곳이 차마 꿈엔들이 진리야.
칠화로에 채가 식어지면 빈 밭에 밤바람 소리 말을 달리고 얇은 졸음에 겨운 늙으신 아버지가 집벽에는 돌아보이시는 곳 그곳이 차마 꿈엔들이 진리야.
흙에서 자란 내 마음
사마사를 찾으러 불서기술에 함초른 휘적시던 곳 그곳이 차마
하늘에는 성근별 알 수도 없는 모래성으로 발을 옮기고
서리까마귀 우지짓고 지나가는 초라한 지붕 흐릿한 불빛에 돌아앉아 도란도란 거리는 곳
그곳이 차마
이 진리야. 방금 들으신 향수는 정지용
The song Nostalgia that has been sung just now was by a poem written by Jung Ji-yong, who has the longing for the true peace and our nation. Once again, give them a big round of applause. Next, we will have a ceremony to give the awards for the Independence Martyrs, and a total of 177 of them will be awarded, and among them 5 of their descendants will come up to the stage to receive these awards. Please come to the stadium when your names are called out. Order of Merit for National Foundation, Patriotic Medal, late Choi Byung-guk. Order of Merit for National Foundation, National Medal, late Ho-eun. Order of Merit for National Foundation, Patriotic Medal, late Son Yong-woo. National Foundation Medal, late Shin Chang-hee. Presidential Medal, late Son Dal-lee. The certificate to late Choi Byung-guk. The above person has contributed greatly for the establishment of the Korea, and the award is awarded in accordance to the Korean Constitution. And this will be awarded to his son, Mr. Choi Kyung-bo. Order of Merit for National Foundation, National Medal, late Son Yong-woo. It will be awarded to his wife, Miss Kim Kyung-hee. Order of Merit for National Foundation, the National Medal late Ha-eun, it will be awarded to his son, Mr. Lee Hang-seung. National Foundation Medal late Shin Chang-hee, it will be awarded to son Min Young-baek. Presidential Medal Lady Son Dal-lee, it will be awarded to grandson, Mr. Kim Jae-young. They will now greet all of you. You may be seated and return to your seats. Now the President will give his commemorative speech for the 73rd National Fellow Korean citizens, independent patriots and their bereaved families, Korean compatriots living overseas, today is a very meaningful day as we celebrate the 73rd anniversary of national liberation and the 70th anniversary of the foundation of the Republic of Korean government. The sacrifice and dedication of the independence have enabled us to have today. I extend my sincere respect to all of them, and my respect also goes to all of the independent patriots and their bereaved family members. From the Justice Army during the late Joseon Dynasty to the March 1st movement, our independence movement became a fierce fight for national sovereignty. Centering around the interim government of the Republic of Korea, we carried out a persevering fight with the aim of establishing our country by ourselves. The pro-Japanese groups were not the mainstream of our history. The fight for independence by our own citizens were much fiercer than in any other countries. National liberation is not something given to us by external forces. It is the result of the ceaseless fights that our martyrs carried out, risking their lives. National liberation was established as all our citizens gathered their energy under the value of equality. In the end, on the day of national liberation, we all shouted, "Hooray!" We can have a sense of pride in such fact. Fellow Korean citizens, the place where we celebrate the National Liberation Day today here in Yongsan is the center of Seoul that has been returned to our citizens in 114 years. During the Japanese colonial rule, Yongsan was used as the Japanese military base and was the center of the forces that exploited and ruled over Joseon. Together with national liberation, new history of ROK-US relations began here in Yongsan. After the Korean War, Yongsan has become the foundation that has made peace on the Korean peninsula. In June, the U.S. Armed Forces in Korea has moved to Pyeongtaek, and we've now ushered in an era of even more robust ROK-US alliance. Now, Yongsan will be designed into an ecological park that resembles the Central Park of New York. The plan to build a national park that has been proclaimed in 2005 has now been able to be carried out fully. I'm thrilled just by imagining the ecological park that will act as a lung of the center of Seoul, the capital city of Korea. I believe it is ever more meaningful that we hold such commemoration event for the National Liberation Day today here in Yongsan that embodies our people's painful history, desire for peace, and a desire for a beautiful future. Fellow Korean citizens, as it took a long time for Yongsan to be returned to us, the history of independence movements that has yet to be excavated and discovered awaits us. In particular, the independence movements by women remains to be excavated and discovered. Despite the patriarchal system, the socio-economic injustices, women have fought for independence with unwavering determination. Ms. Kang Ju-ryong, who was a female laborer of Pyeongwon rubber plant in Pyongyang, opposed to the unilateral salary cut in 1931 during the Japanese rule, and climbed up on the 12-meter Ulmildae roof to shout female liberation and labor liberation. Back in the days in Chosun, the salary for male laborers were not even half of the salary for Japanese laborers, and that of Chosun female laborers did not even reach half of that. While she died after 2 months of being released from prison, she received the Order of Merit for National Foundation Patriotic Medal in 2007. In 1932, in Kuja of Jeju Island, the anti-government Japanese movement by women divers to fight against the exploitation of the Japanese rule began with just 5 divers. But it spread across all of Jeju to include 800 divers. And during 3 months, a total of 17,000 people participated in the protests that were carried out over 238 times. Now in Kuja, you can find the commemorative statue for Jeju women divers who fought against Japanese rule. And over the course of 1 year since last year's National Liberation Day, my administration has found 200 women independence fighters to proudly enlist their names in our history of national liberation. And 26 of them are awarded with orders and rewards today. We will also continue to award and reward them going forward. All of the efforts for national liberation will be justly evaluated and will be treated with adequate respect. Regardless of gender, roles, and their status, my administration will continue to excavate the history of independence movements with no discrimination. I believe that this is the true meaning of completing national liberation. Fellow Korean citizens, the Republic of Korea is a country that was established by the help of all of our people in their own spots. Today, as we celebrate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of our government, the Republic of Korea has become a nation to be proud of globally. Among the countries that have been liberated from colonial rule since the Second World War, there are no other countries that have successfully established economic growth and democracy as we have today. We now stand among the world's top dozen wealthy countries. We have surprised the world by restoring democracy through candlelight revolution. This is how today's Republic of Korea is described. These are all great achievements that we've achieved, made possible, overcoming division of the country, terrible war, and acute South-North confrontation, absolute poverty, military authoritarianism, and other challenges. Although there are room for achievement, no one can deny the fact that there are not many countries globally that have established such a dynamic development as we did. This was all made possible not by only our ancestors, but also by us. We tend to under-evaluate our status and capacity. But when we go abroad, all of us can feel that the Republic of Korea is a successful country that many other countries are envious of. I hope we can be proud of such fact. And such pride will make the next 7 decades going forward. Fellow Korean citizens, now we take responsibility over our own destiny, and the Korean Peninsula is going towards peace and prosperity. This is the road to overcome and end national division. National division, even after the war, have made fears of war and ordinary life in our daily lives of our people. It took away the lives of many young people and brought enormous economic cost and capacity consumption. Development has been restricted in Gyeonggi-do Province and Northern Gangwon-do Province, and the citizens who live among the 5 West Sea Islands have been restricted from fishing in their abundant oceans. National division has made the Republic of Korea be isolated from the big continent, and it also has impacted the way we think. Numerous taboos have hindered free thinking. Division has become the excuse for military authoritarianism that put forth security. It also gave room for ideological conflicts, biased politics, and regional politics. It also served as a greenhouse for privileges and corruption. And now we must overcome division to enable our survival and prosperity. Although political unification will take even much longer, we need free exchanges between the two Koreas and peace, as well as a single economic community. This is a true meaning of national liberation. Together with our people, I am walking this road boldly. This is all possible thanks to all of your support. Since my inauguration, I have visited 11 nations and 17 cities, where I met people who were proud of our people, who restored justice and democracy through candlelight revolution, and have established a nation noteworthy of being called a nation. This has become a strong energy that received international support. Above all, I met with President Trump to agree on developing the ROK-US alliance into a grand alliance. And we also agreed that we will join hands to resolve the North's nuclear issue in peaceful manners. German Chancellor Merkel and other leaders of the G20 countries have expressed wide support for the efforts of my administration. ASEAN countries have also agreed to make a mutually prosperous, peaceful community together. And with President Xi Jinping, I agreed to develop our relations into a strategic partnership relation. And China right now is playing a big role in establishing peace on the Korean Peninsula. With President Putin, we agreed to establish cooperation between North, South, and South Korea, as well as Russia. With Prime Minister Abe, we agreed to develop the bilateral relations into a future-oriented one and cooperate even fully to establish a peace on the Korean Peninsula and Northeast Asia. This will go towards normalized relations between North Korea and Japan. The Panmunjom Declaration has been able to establish through such international support. The two Koreas have also agreed to put a halt on all of the hostilities on our soil, our air, and our sea. And we have established and restored contact channels between the two military. And the West Sea, which has been dubbed the Sea of Conflict, is now being dubbed the Sea of Peace. And we are going towards a sea of co-prosperity. And we aim to demilitarize the Panmunjom joint military zone, as well as withdrawal of other security forces there. And we will also jointly discover the remains of those who fought during the war. And we also restored the unions of the separated families and established the joint liaison offices in each other countries. This is a very meaningful progress. In just a few days, we will be able to usher in a new era between the two countries where we communicate 24/7. The North U.S. Summit is also a strong desire for co-prosperity and peace between the two countries, and this has been a pledge that the two countries have shared with all of the rest of the international community. The North Korea's complete denuclearization and its implementation, and as well as the other measures by U.S., I hope all of them will be carried out in accordance. Fellow Korean citizens, we also, during the past inter-Korean high-level talks, we agreed to have another summit in autumn, and I will be able to visit Pyongyang with the desires and hopes for peace of our people. The implementation of the Panmunjom Declaration will be checked upon by the two leaders, and we will go forward to establishing a complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and a peace treaty on the Korean Peninsula. We need to root out deeply rooted mistrust between the two Koreas and between North Korea and the U.S. in order to fully take a step forward. I will establish a deeper trust relationship between the two Koreas, and I will also lead the initiative to make active dialogue between North Korea and the U.S. I believe that it is crucial to think that we are the owners of the Korean Peninsula. The improvement of relations between the two Koreas is not something that is brought upon by the progress made between North Korea and the U.S. It is rather the driving force of the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. And this is also being supported by the historical facts and historical evidences. Together with the complete denuclearization, I hope that we can establish a long-lasting peace on the Korean Peninsula in order to achieve true economic cooperation. A peaceful community and an economic community will be established, and we can take another leap forward. And in no time, our people will be living under co-prosperity. According to a research done by a public institution, throughout the next 3 decades, the economic effects of the inter-Korean economic communication will reach about 170 trillion Korean won. And this is the result of the effects that has been added the Kaesong Industrial Complex and resumption of the tourism in the Kumgangsan Mountains and other railroad and other business projects. And the Kumgangsan Tourism Project also have made possible new jobs for 8,900 people. And the Kaesong Industrial Complex was home to more than 100,000 people of jobs. And this was also possible due to the prosperity on the in the region. Once we alleviate military tensions and establish long-lasting peace on the Korean Peninsula, the areas on the Gyeonggi-do Province and Gangwon-do Province will be established as the Unification Economic Special Zone. And this will be participated by many regions as well as SMEs to make new jobs and the economy. The Panmunjom Declaration have agreed on the project to connect the railroad and the roads, and it is our aim to embark on this during this year. Connecting the road and railway is the starting point of the co-prosperity on the Korean Peninsula. In 1951, under the aim of ending the war and preventing the war, establishing peace, and restoring the economy, the Six Nations established a special community for European coals and steels. And this has become the foundation for the European Union. And I today declare and suggest that here in Yongsan we begin a railway that connects the East Asia, that is participated with other East Asia countries as well as the US. And this community will expand our economic horizon into a bigger horizon, and will link the co-prosperity of the Northeast Asia, and it will also lead to energy community and an economic community of East Asia, as well as the beginning of East Asia multilateral peace and security system. My fellow Korean citizens and compatriots living overseas, we have overcome great economic achievements going beyond our colonial rule and national liberation, as well as war. Our people have made miracles possible in this world, in this nation, and we are making this world into a just and fair one. And the independence martyrs and patriots have suffered and endured pains by cheering themselves with this mere hope that liberation will come one day. Although we have challenges going forward, including the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and reviving our economy, we have nothing to be afraid of if we hold hands tightly. Peace on the Korean Peninsula and prosperity depends on how we do it. I believe in optimism. The desire and courage that has made possible national liberation will bring us a true national liberation, which means peace and prosperity going beyond division. Thank you very much.
시가 떨리고 막 뿔 떨려지지 그 말이 안 나와. 마음은 좀 작아.
welcome to the very first